Hi, my name is Chris and I wrote the Dad's Divorce Guide. And on this little talk, I want to go over something that happens a lot. It's when your ex accuses you of something in a tone that, they may say you always or you never. And, that probably happened while you were married, but now that you're divorced, they may still do it. And really it's to try and get a reaction out of you. So don't give them the satisfaction of the reaction. See, what happens when somebody accuses you like that, you kind of go into this fight or flight mode where, most of the time you're going to want to fight and you're going to want to prove that they're wrong. And that's totally natural. But, what you have to do is kind of fight that natural urge and, really just not react to it. So a lot of times when they say that, you don't even have to respond to them. And that's totally fine. That's probably the right thing to do. But if they are, kind of hammering you for a response, certainly don't blow up and yell and all that kind of stuff, because that just makes it worse. They may be trying to get a reaction out of you so they can use that reaction against you in court. So be, really careful about just agreeing to what they say. It's always perfectly fine to say, well, I don't agree with that statement, and then move on. So there's a lot of ways that you can handle the accusations of, you always or you never, but you have to be really careful. The absolute wrong thing to do is to blow up and yell and that sort of thing. So, if you have to, just take yourself out of the conversation, or say, if they're talking to you verbally, just say, well, I'll respond to you on email or something like that. Change the conversation. But the one thing you don't want to do is blow up and get mad, all that kind of stuff. So, if they're trying to get a reaction out of you, don't give them that pleasure. That's all I'll say to that. But the reason why, when somebody says you always or you never in a conversation, and this probably happened when you were married, is it's really emotional because in your brain you're like, well, that's not true, and they're saying something false, and I need to prove myself right, and they're wrong, that kind of thing. So it's a very powerful emotional trigger for someone to use against you, and it's a lot easier, again, if you beforehand know how you're going to react to that sort of situation or accusation. So again, my best advice on this is to not react to it. Definitely don't react to it. And you can always say that you disagree with what they've said. And again, be careful of agreeing with them just to agree with them to shut them up, because if you do that, they could possibly use your admission against you in court. So those are my quick tips for when an ex is, trying to push your buttons by saying you always, you never. Hopefully this was helpful to you. I wrote the Dad's Divorce Guide, and if you want more tips like this, check out my book. It's available on Amazon, or you can get it on the web at dadsdivorceguide.com. We'll see you next time.